All right. So I wanted to welcome you to Contain Convos. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
You are renowned as the GOAT of hip hop and one of my favorite rappers. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit just about the start, like what age you were when you started and what really got you interested in wanting to express your art through hip hop.
Oh man, well, I became a fan at like 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the age when I really became a fan. That was the age when I really like got into the zone and was into it. I heard groups like, the Treacherous Three and Grandmaster Flash and Furious Five and Force MCs, Cold Crush Brothers, Cold Crush Four, Fantastic Romantic Freaks, all of the guys that like really laid the foundation. And just, fell in love with the whole vibe, you know what I'm saying? I just fell in love with the whole culture, the whole music, the whole, just everything it is, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, at that time, it was like, as a kid, it was the only thing that made me feel powerful, you know what I'm saying? It was something that like I could kind of escape from my own personal problems and things that were going on in my childhood. It was a way to get away from all of that and kind of just focus on something that I believed in and just go into this amazing imaginary world where I could just be like, you know what I'm saying, like a superhero or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I did it, you know what I mean?
Awesome. Okay. So a question about the story of how you met Rick. I watched the interview where you spoke about how you went to the record stores and you took the labels off the back and got all of got all of the record labels addresses and was sending your demo out to them. How old were you at that age?
At that age, that started probably around 14 years old. I started doing that. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Around 14. Yeah,
that's crazy. So, and that's why I wanted to do stuff, interview and talk to people as great as yourself, because I feel like kids my age or just the younger generations in general don't realize that a lot of our heroes and the people who inspired our culture changed the world at a young age. As D always says, like they changed the world when they were 17, 18, you when you were 14, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that we need to start telling the kids and really preaching to the kids, because they are the youth is going to change the world, but they got to know it from young that they can, and they got it all inside of them.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can definitely do it. I mean, I made my first professional song at 16. Like I Need a Beat was on Def Jam. We started Def Jam when I was 16, right? From 14 to 16, I was trying to get my demo heard. Took about 2 years, and at 16, we started, Def Jam, and, Rick and Russell started the label, and, the rest is history. But yeah, you could change the world, man. And it doesn't have to stop. Like there's no limitation on it. I didn't see limitation when I was younger at 14, 15, 16, and I don't see limitation now. I think you just got to dream and go for it and believe in what you're doing, man. And just, make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And like, so yeah, I would encourage all the youth to just know that it is possible. You know what I'm saying? And just know that, you may have to struggle to get that opportunity. I know that.
Right.
Opportunity is not like dished out equally to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We got to fight harder ourselves, our people of our color skin. We got to fight harder. A lot harder.
No doubt. So you're gonna have to fight harder, but you can still do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing. You can do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I like what you just said too about how you don't see limitations now, because one of my favorite quotes that I got from an interview watching you is dreams don't have deadlines.
They don't, man. They don't. I mean, look, man, you could do anything you want to do at any time in your life. It's just a matter of, you just gotta believe, but you can't arrogantly believe. Wow. You have to actually put in the work and be prepared and then do it. Like it, you can believe you can run a marathon, but if you haven't trained for it, you're still not gonna be able to do it.
Right.
You gotta have faith and works, right? So yeah, there's no limit. There's no limit on this. You know what I'm saying? And there's no limit for a kid in the hood, 14, 15 right now. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta figure it out. And you got to know that sometimes you're going to be disappointed, but you can't give up. You can't give up. You just can't give up. You can't, especially if you know that you truly have the ability. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got to be honest with yourself about that. You know, you really have to be honest about that. Like, you have to be able to compare yourself and look at the world around you and say, okay, where do I fit in? Can I do this?
Right. I
You
go
know?
through that a lot, like now talking to, up some of my friends who do music and upcoming artists. And one common theme that I find that I see amongst all of them is, and it's not something that's taught, like you really have to learn that and experience it and go through it. But I find that a lot of artists don't know how to gauge what their worth is, like right now. Like right now as an upcoming artist, what do you bring to the table, and what are your assets besides the fact that you do music? Like, do you understand that you're a brand, not just this rapper or this singer or this whatever? And I find a lot of people struggle with that.
Well, you know, it's interesting, right? Like, yeah, you're a brand, that's true. And a lot of kids today are a lot smarter than I was at that age in some ways, especially when you talk about the sophistication of brands and stuff like that. You know, but what I would say is the one thing that you got to remember you bring to the table, and you always bring to the table, is your unique self, your creativity, and your vision. You know what I'm saying? So if you bring your unique self and your creativity and your vision to the table, and you truly believe in that, and you're not just like a spinoff of some other person, or
Right.
just like a fake.
You gotta stay true to yourself.
Yeah. If you stay true to yourself and you do your thing, it's possible, man. You can make it. You can do it, but you gotta believe though, and you can't quit. You know what I mean? You just can't.
No, for sure. And I want to speak a little bit to more so our culture, the African American culture, and something that I also watched in another interview. I've been watching your interviews for like the last couple of days for this, but something that I did like, it was a couple quotes that you said that I really liked, and you said something about like doing what you want to do, and Black people giving themselves the freedom to be that break dancer or that origami person or whatever it is that you want to be, actually doing it and stepping out instead of putting yourself in this box. I feel like a lot of the young kids growing up, they think that young Black kids growing up, they think that they got to be the ball player or the rapper, or they got to be that main person.
Yeah. You got to be free to you got to let yourself dream, man. If your dream is to be a pilot, just be a pilot.
Right.
If your dream is to, be a sailboat racer, be a sailboat racer. If your dream is to, be a professional golf player, be a golf, play golf. Like whatever that dream is, if your dream is to, own a throwback bookstore, whatever you want to do, you should really go after your dreams and not feel judged, and feel pigeonholed into being what the people around you want you to be, or the people you're surrounded by. Like, don't let the environment, especially as Black people, we can't let the hood limit us in how we think in terms of our ideas. We are a diverse people with a lot of ideas,
and a lot
of create. Right. Go for it, man. There's this idea that it's corny if it's not either macho or street or sports related or hip hop related. That's not true.
Right.
You could do what you want to do, man. If you want to start an eyeglass company, start an eyeglass company. Like, whatever you want to do. I don't care what, this nerd idea, this idea that things are nerdy, or listen, man, just don't pay that any mind, because, your dreams come true. Person that can make their dreams come true, that's what it's about, man. It's about making your dreams come true. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. So question for you, when you started as a hip hop artist and then transitioned into acting, was that something that you always wanted to do, or did the opportunity just present itself and you just went for it?
It was both. It was something like I kind of always I was heavily influenced by Bruce Lee. Always loved Bruce Lee. Thought it was cool. You know what I'm saying? He did action movies. And he was Asian, but he would have Jim Kelly, African American dude, in his movies, and I could just really relate to Bruce Lee because he was just he just wasn't like, just with all due respect, just another white guy on the camera. It was like, at least he was different. He was Asian. I could relate to him, right? So it's like, yo, like, yeah. So I always wanted to do that. And then what happened was, as I started moving around and got more and more into the music industry, I started meeting agents and
Right.
getting exposed to different people, and opportunities would come. And I just never wanted to limit myself. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like if I see an opportunity and I feel I can do it, and
Right.
that's something I feel like I have the ability to do it, I just like to go for it and try it. Like I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I just don't let myself be held in a box. You know, sometimes that gets you in trouble, but it is what it is. That's just how I see it. You know what I mean?
No, I 100% agree, and that's what I learned a lot from you. Just seeing you with my dad and D and us talking. I remember one conversation I had with you that kind of started me off on this whole path. Like a year ago, I was talking to you about a politician that wanted to do some work with me, and then you just were like, "Yo, you need them, trust me." And I was just giving my opinion on why I didn't want to do it, and you just really encouraged me to do it. And fast forward, I did it, and I did like 4 open mic nights with him. Got to do the Run DMC 35th anniversary pop up. Started my own creative agency. Now I do work with
So
the.
it all worked out.
Yeah, we went. We took it all the way just based off of that advice right there. So I do want to say thank you for that first and foremost.
Oh man, I love hearing that. I love hearing that. I love hearing that, man. I do, man. That's dope.
Definitely.
That's dope.
I want to talk a little bit about Rock the Bells Radio because I really like what you're doing with Rock the Bells Radio. It's not. What was the station it was before? Backspin.
Yeah, it was Backspin. Yeah, before we took it over, it was Backspin. Yep.
Right. Now, the one thing that I do like that you did that's way different from Backspin is you play a lot of the B-side stuff. But not only do you play artists B-side stuff, the stuff that isn't the most highlighted that you're not going to see with a star on Apple Music, you play a lot of artists from the South. It was just all over, period, that
Yeah.
you wouldn't usually hear. Like I could go on Sirius app and hear Pastor Troy, and nobody knew. The High 97 is not playing that. So
Right.
that's crazy. Like, so what was your vision for Rock the Bells, and what made you want to take that initiative?
Well, I felt like, I just felt like classic hip hop, before we worked on Rock the Bells, it felt like a glorified jukebox, but it only played like you hear, Wild Thing by Tone Loc, It Takes Two by Rob Bass, I Need Love, and Good Night. Maybe Walk This Way once in a while. It just felt like a little contrived.
Right.
And I wanted to really make it about the culture, and really share with the world, all of this talent that we have out there. And I also didn't want to, while I have complete respect for New York, of course, I'm a New Yorker, and I always want to rep that to the fullest. But, these contributions to hip hop were made by, by kids and people all over the world and all over our country. And I want to make sure that they are represented and that they are supported. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's the West, that's Mississippi, you know what I'm saying? That's Missouri, that like wherever you from, like I just want people to feel like we rocking. And the vision is just to really give timeless hip hop culture to the world in a dope way and let people really feel it and be immersed in it and give you the chance to soak it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To really soak it up and to really, like when you go on a road trip and if you listen to Rock the Bells, when you get out of that car, you're going to feel like you went on a journey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
My father and D's first station when we get in the car at LAX.
You know what I mean?
First thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Absolutely. It's just, and it, it feels good, man, because there are a lot of artists prior to that were marginalized. I felt like there was a lot of classic hip hop artists that weren't necessarily getting the love. Like you look at like a show like Last Dance, the documentary on Michael Jordan and the Bulls during their 91 run, during their Last Dance, their final run.
Yeah. Yep.
And you look at the classic hip hop songs that are in that documentary, and it's like, it's refreshing. You realize, wow, well, this is some great music. And guess what? We can coexist. And guess what? You can like be a Travis Scott fan or be a DaBaby fan or be a Drake fan, and you can still have this Run DMC and this Eric B and Rakim and these Tribe records and these Outkast records and this, that can live too. Like we don't have to like just say, we don't have to dismiss our roots.
It doesn't have to
And
be old school versus new school. It's just hip hop.
at all. We don't have to kill our roots to enjoy the fruit. Like, we can have both.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For sure. So that brings me to another point. I find that the importance of the DJ in hip hop has sort of went away, kind of a lot compared to when you started and you were Cut Creator and Run DMC with Jam Master Jay, and the importance of highlighting the DJ and making them a part of the show and a part of the band themselves. Compared to back then to now, like, do you think that that's something that needs to be fixed? Because I feel like it kind of needs, like, I've seen a lot of dope DJs. I mean, TJ, Charlie Chan, just knowing them personally and watching them, it's crazy to see how skilled and talented they are. To go watch a show or see at a festival, and that skill and those mixes and the cuts and stuff that they could do never get highlighted like that.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because the answer to your question is yes. The DJs definitely deserve to get more love, and because they've always been an important element in hip hop. But when you look at what happened during the pandemic, and look at the resurgence of all the DJs on Instagram and IG Live, you realize how important these men and women are to the world in general. You realize that a DJ really is an art form. And I think when you see all the way they were embraced during the pandemic, you realize, wait a minute, we got to give the DJs a little
about them, right?
Yeah, you know, you got reminded. You know what I'm saying? We got reminded by all these great DJs. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that is a really, really special thing. You know what I'm saying? So the answer is yes, but that's up to the young artists. See, a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of the music isn't necessarily created utilizing breaks anymore. They're not really doing the same kind of sampling. So a lot of it is more, you know, keyboard stuff and you know, just Pro Tools and Garage Band and just or Ableton or whatever you use.
Oh, program.
It's programming. So their focus is not on the DJ as much. But that's up to the artists. They really have to embrace the DJ in a big way. And that's also another reason why something like Rock the Bells is so important, because we still celebrate that. But we give you a modern execution. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what year it is. Like, when we celebrate a DJ on Rock the Bells, like, I'm not delusional I'm not trying to take somebody back in time. I'm just giving you dope stuff, dope classics, and dope timeless music for now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to, like it's like when you go in the Louvre Museum, you're not in there, and when you look at a painting, it's like the painting is being presented to you today. We're celebrating the art.
Right.
We're not celebrating necessarily we acknowledge the age of the art, and sometimes that's a good thing. Like, wow, that's even older. Like, it's a good thing.
Well. Right. And you see how it ages well and
yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just really trying to give people something that has the timeless stuff that has aged well, and celebrate the DJs in the process. So I think these artists just have to, you know, just start embracing their roots a little bit more and get a little into it and bridge the gap, right? Because, like, on Rock the Bells, it's funny. You know, we have almost 30% of our listeners under 25. You know what I'm saying? Which is a really, really interesting thing, because a lot of people don't know that. Even on our Rock the Bells Instagram, we got a lot of kids under 17. We got more kids under 17 on our Rock the Bells IG than probably most IG profiles. You know what I'm saying? Most pages. You know what I mean? And people wouldn't think that.
I follow the page too, and it goes to how y'all do y'all posts, and even just at Rock the Bells as a whole. Back to what you were saying about making it for everybody and not boxing it in, because I find the younger generation is interested if you deliver the message the right way.
And the thing about me is I'm open to the new generation. I'm not one of those dudes that want to, like, you know, tell the young, you know, I'm not, you know, like, I'm just not built like that. You know, I started very young, man. I made my first single at 16 years old.
Right.
I can relate, like, on every level. Like, you know what I mean? When I was 16, I didn't want to hear nothing no 35, 40-year-old dude was talking about. Right. Unless he knew who he was. and unless he was comfortable in his own skin.
Right.
Unless, if he was comfortable in his own skin and he knew his age and his role, then I was like, okay, I like him because I can learn from him.
That's exactly how I am. It's like you get that vibe, and you could tell who's gonna be receptive to you as a youth, and who's gonna be like, okay, we hear what you're saying, but okay, do it the way that we just said, all right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Sure. Now, going to adapting, and I like how you stay relevant as an OG in the game and as that mentor in the game from back then. One thing me and Dougie talked about when I did his episode last week was talking to the OGs and really trying to get them to adapt to this new age of doing business, doing social media marketing, just being engaged in how to really connect with their fans these days, because I find a lot of them don't want to do the social media thing, or they're like against it and they got this pushback. But in a time like this now, I feel like they should really be seeing that the only way that we're going to be able to connect, at least for a little while till it's back to normal, is through social media. Like, you got to get on the line, talk to your fans. You got to do Fresh Talk or the Cool Down with LL. You got to do these things to stay engaged and really talk to the people.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, part of, I've always been a person, like, it's very simple. As life moves on, you should adapt to life, right? Like, there's modern technology. Like, why wouldn't I adapt that? I'm not going to dig my heels in and try to, keep things the way they were. You know what I mean? Life moves on. And as life moves on, you embrace it. So I was early on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? I jumped on Instagram, I have no issues with that. Like, it is what it is. Like modern technology is a part of it. That's like saying, oh, because I'm a certain age, I don't want to get on planes. Like, they got a new plane. I don't want to get, I got to take a horse. I got to take a horse and buggy because of a certain age. Like, come on. It's ridiculous. Like, you got to embrace what's going on, man. Like, you can still be yourself. But, yeah, I definitely think that we should always take advantage of modern technology, take advantage of what's going on, learn from it. You can always learn something new. You can learn something new from everybody. It's funny. I never look to throw away like my confidence in myself or like pretend that I don't feel cool personally, but at the same time, I'm always open to learning from young people, from anyone. Anybody could teach you something. Anybody could teach you something. So, you got to, part of, I think that's one of the keys in life is to stay mentally sharp and light on your feet intellectually and mentally, and to constantly be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. You know what I'm saying? I've always been like that. So I'm like, that's how I move. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, look at Steve Jobs. I mean, this was a guy in his mid-50s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he spearheaded a lot of this stuff, right? Look at Bill Gates. Look at, so, but then he had Zuckerberg as well, right? So you have different age ranges. It's all about this. It's all about your spirit and your mind. You know what I'm saying? Word.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I want to get to is trending right now with this Drake and LL debate. I didn't watch the Cool Down yesterday, but you are all over my Twitter feed when I woke up this morning about I guess you said that you started whatever Drake does, which is 100% a fact. But what was the whole situation? I didn't watch.
Oh, no, it was nothing negative at all. The guy was just asking me. Speedy was basically asking me about like love rap and that genre, and I was just saying that I'm happy that I was able to pave the way and make that part of hip hop more acceptable for people. And I took a lot of flack in that, but that was in no, like in other words, like I like Drake's music. I love a lot of his music. Listen to the new mixtape. Think it's dope. He's very talented.
What's your favorite the new mixtape? Or is it too?
I like. I'm trying to think of the name of the one. The one. It's the real dark one. What's the name?
Demon?
Huh?
Is it the Demons track? Oh, maybe it might be Losses. It's probably one of the more lyrical ones.
No, Losses is cool. Losses is cool. That's the Losses where he said you wrote me off, but you never wrote back.
Yep.
It's not that one though. That's not that one. It's another one. I just can't remember the name. But look, I'll think of it. But I think he's very talented. I think that you know, a lot of these artists that do those songs, you know, I'm just glad I was able to kind of open that lane up. It's not any different from what Dre and them did for gangster rap, right? Like LL Cool J did for love rap, you know, what Dre and them did for gangster rap. So that's all I was saying. I think that sometimes people, you know, they probably would love for me to be a hater, but I'm not gonna hate on that kid. Like they would love that. Like they can't wait for that. But I'm not gonna hate on that kid. He's doing his thing. He's killing it. I'm happy for him. He's talented, and you know, that's it. You know what I mean? No, so 100%. Yeah, like, all love.
Yeah, it goes back to like when I was doing Dougie's last week, and I mentioned up Griselda to him about their album What Machine Gun Do and how they do all of their own sound effects, and just relating it to the fact that the thought had to come from a Dougie influence, the whole beatboxing and so forth. So even with the Drake thing, the thought had to come from
the
influence.
And then, you know what, Griselda's dope too. You know what I'm saying? Guns, you know, the Butcher.
I like them heavy. I like them real.
Yeah, I like Griselda. I like Griselda. And you know, and they really like kind of in a lot of ways underneath Rock Marciano, right? Like that vibe. Yeah, they come from that Rock Marciano vibe. So listen, I like them all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very much one of these dudes. I'm one of the OGs that actually is rooting for the new artists. And you know, and it's funny because you know, somebody could be out 15 years and they're a new artist to me. It's actually hilarious to me. But I'm one of the.
That's how I felt about Griselda. I got on them this year, but they've been out for like the last couple years. I heard my friends trying to tell me I'm like super late.
Nah, but they definitely do their thing. They do their thing. Drake does his thing. It's a lot of great ones on there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's dope. But you know what? It looks like I gotta do this next interview, man.
Thank you so much for your time, Al.
You know, but yo, again, I don't know which song it is. I'll try to remember when I do. I'll shoot you an email so that you can add it. All right? They're calling me now.
All right, my pop said what up, by the way.
Oh, tell him I said what up, Blam. What up, Blam? All right.
What up? Thank you, man.
You welcome, man. It's all love, baby. You know that.
All right, peace. Be safe.
All right, peace.